As a cloud-based unified suite, NetSuite centralizes your data from all business functions. That data is the ideal foundation for getting the most out of the AI functionality embedded in the suite. With AI, NetSuite can help find new ways to simplify tasks and empower better decision-making, not just supporting your business, but propelling it. Leveraging Oracle's technology, NetSuite uses AI that both advises, giving you insights into your data, and assists, helping you execute tasks more productively, all the while keeping a human in the loop. Quality data is essential for enabling AI to recognize patterns and make accurate predictions. AI embedded in NetSuite uses the data your business manages every day to further tailor the benefits in a way that's up to date, customized to your needs, and delivered in context. If you use NetSuite, you already have a major advantage. You have centralized, timely, and accurate data always on demand. That's a distinct advantage when it comes to using AI to help you run your business. Businesses that have data spread across many siloed systems, on the other hand, will need to regularly gather, organize, and integrate that data before AI systems can make use of it. We believe that the best AI comes from the best data, and the best data is from a unified suite, providing a quantum leap in insights and productivity. That's your AI advantage with NetSuite.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Tori Youngblood, and today I'm sitting down with NetSuite SVP of Technology and AI, Brian Chess. We're going to dive into all things AI, including our AI strategy here at NetSuite, how our relationship with Oracle helps ensure our customers get access to the very best technology, how we're infusing AI into everything we do, and even how we're drinking our own champagne by using our AI internally. It's going to be a great discussion and we want to hear from you. So drop us a like, a comment, or a question. And now, without further ado, let's welcome Brian Chess. Brian, thanks for being here today.
Tori, thanks for having me.
How's it going?
Oh, things are going at a million miles an hour. It's a really exciting time to be working on AI.
It's an exciting time to be the AI guy. And we're excited to have you here. So I thought we'd get started with a couple warm-up questions. Are you ready?
Okay.
Break the ice a little bit. Okay, so number one, what is your favorite AI innovation out there right now?
Oh boy. I want to tell a story about a NetSuite customer, but before I do, I think one of the just super exciting things that's happened with AI in the last few years is that it's gone from being this just technology topic to something that's accessible to everybody. Everybody's using AI these days. So I guess this will really break the ice. I want to turn around and ask you, what's your favorite thing that's happened in AI recently?
You know, this is a good time to ask me that question because I have been getting into ChatGPT, dabbling a little bit recently, and I recently went to Peru and it helped me plan my trip. I was by the Amazon River and I was like, where can I go for dinner? And it gave me a great recommendation. It even offered to make a reservation for me.
I think that's a fantastic example of the kind of thing that's happening in AI these days. And the idea that you could just talk to it and have it talk back to you. If you back up a couple of years, that'd just be like science fiction. And now we're living it, and you're finding ways to incorporate it into what you want to do. I think it's an absolutely fantastic use case. Okay, so here's the story I wanted to tell about a NetSuite customer. So it was a finance team, and they had a problem. They had reams and reams of data, like way more data than you'd want to try and jam into NetSuite. And in fact, more data than you could fit into Excel. And they needed to analyze it. And they were just not sure what to do. They ended up asking AI to write a little bit of Python code for them. That's the finance team. These are not software developers. They had the AI write the code, was able to give them something to analyze the data and solve their problem without having to go a different route. And I want to talk about what a different route would have looked like there. Typically, in a corporation where a team needs some technology assistance, they need to build something, what would they do? They'd probably go to a consultant. The consultant would go through a lengthy discovery phase where they try to figure out what actually needs to be solved here. Then they'd go write something and hand over a really big bill. And this finance team short-circuited all of that. They didn't have to pay for the consultants. Maybe more importantly for them, they didn't have to wait a bunch of time. And they started developing some skills that they're going to find useful. And that is, they got to do a little bit of iteration on a simple code development project in order to solve a problem that was really important to them. And I think that is a great example of where AI is headed.
Yeah, it's taking this really big, kind of intimidating, oftentimes tech term that is AI, and it's really boiling it down so that we all can use it, whether you're a finance team or me going to Peru or you're a mom planning Thanksgiving. It's really amazing what it's doing. And so you're clearly very passionate about the subject, which is going to make this an exciting conversation. But let's talk about your role here at NetSuite. You're SVP of Technology and AI, as mentioned. So how did you get to this role, and what is your history at NetSuite this far?
Well, my very first exposure to AI was in grad school, and it was in the 90s. I took this class in AI, and the professor was like, there's this interesting stuff going on with protein folding, and if you're interested in that, maybe you could, do some more work outside of this class. And I said, no, thank you. I think I'll just kind of get on with my career. And the project he was talking about turned into the Human Genome Project. So it was just an incredible piece of research that I just completely passed on. And what I did instead was become an early software developer at NetSuite. So I had always been interested in AI, and over time at NetSuite, we did do some things in AI. But then when the AI revolution happened, we said, now is the time for us to really put focus there. And so I was maybe first to raise my hand and say, I'd like to put together the group that does that and really try to define NetSuite's strategy around AI and really, really accelerate our execution.
So you saw the vision from the very beginning.
I had the passion.
You had the passion. That's the most important part. And so what has it been like developing NetSuite's AI strategy and development and deployment?
Well, it's just super exciting, because if you think about what do you need in order to make AI go? What's the difference between the way we've done software development in the past and what we're doing now with AI? It's all about the data. And so the question is, where in the world could you go to find where businesses are structuring the data and showing how it all connects together? That's NetSuite. We are the perfect place to build AI. So I feel really fortunate to be put in that position. But something else that's really fortunate to me is I already rode one amazing wave in Silicon Valley, and NetSuite was part of that, and that was really the rise of the internet and the web. And so in order to be part of NetSuite, which is the first SaaS solution out there, was already an amazing thing to do. If you get to do that in your career, that's incredible. And now we're riding a second wave, and this AI wave reminds me a lot of the first. People aren't exactly sure what to do. They don't know exactly where we're going, but they know it's going to be big.
Yeah, it's incredible the way it's already transformed life and the way we do business, and this is just the beginning. And kind of diving a little bit into NetSuite's AI strategy specifically, what sets us apart from other vendors in the market?
I describe our AI strategy really with three components to it. The first is AI belongs everywhere. We just shorten that to AI everywhere, everywhere in the suite. Secondly, we have a tremendous advantage as being part of Oracle. So we have to take advantage of what Oracle has to offer. And lastly, that the AI needs to be built in and not bolted on.
So let's talk about AI everywhere. We say that a lot. Our customers hear that a lot, but what do we mean by it exactly, and how are we executing on that?
Okay, so there are a couple of components to that, because AI everywhere, I love how succinct it is, but it unpacks into a lot of things. First of all, AI has a role to play no matter what you're using NetSuite to do. So whether you're on the finance team, whether you work in sales, you're doing marketing in the support organization, even NetSuite administrators can benefit from AI, or people who are writing software that's going to run on the NetSuite platform. AI really has a role to play everywhere.
That's a lot of people. There's a lot of people touching this technology, from finance to inventory to HR. What is it going to do for them?
That's a really good question. I mean, we talked earlier, people are excited about the potential of AI, but when we're talking about business solutions, it needs to actually provide some practical value. So what's that practical value look like? It really comes down to two things. First of all, NetSuite's going to provide insight. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business, there's so much in the numbers there. So providing insight into the numbers. And the second is it's going to provide productivity. In other words, you should be able to carry out tasks in the suite faster and more efficiently than you ever have before. Now, I'll tell you what makes this tricky from our perspective. And that is, we want every customer to make NetSuite their suite, which means they take advantage of the built-in functionality, but they also extend NetSuite to solve the business problems that they have. We want the AI to go with them. The AI itself needs to be extensible so that it solves the problems that are in front of them.
Yeah, I think it's really incredible that NetSuite itself is already really customizable, but how these AI solutions are now making it even more so that business leaders are able to tailor these solutions to their business needs. And so speaking of the ways in which our customers benefit from AI in NetSuite, we have a relationship with Oracle. What are the advantages that come with that?
It's a really good question, because there are some of those advantages that I think are pretty obvious, and maybe some that aren't so obvious. So here's an obvious one. Oracle's relationship with NVIDIA. A lot of companies around the world are having trouble getting the chips that they need in order to do the AI work, and that is not a problem for me at all. I'll give you an example here. We recently expanded some of our generative AI offering so that it is now, it's text enhanced that I'm talking about, is available in Japan and is all carried out from our Japanese data centers. And that's only possible because Oracle has a presence in Japan and because Oracle can get NVIDIA chips to Japan. So fantastic advantage there. Maybe an obvious one if you read the headlines. Here's a less obvious one. AI is changing the way people use computers. That's a user interface problem. It's a UX problem. Oracle has a fantastic team called the Redwood team that helps design user experience. We get to benefit from all of their thinking about how is AI changing the relationship between the software and the user.
And going off of that user experience component, another big benefit of AI in NetSuite is it's built in, not bolted on, which means we're integrating it into the user experience. So what are the benefits there?
I think this was particularly relevant as people were starting to get excited about AI and software companies were saying, we got to act right now. And like, what's the most obvious thing to do with just about any piece of software is you just kind of staple a chatbot onto the top of it. And now, you know, it can answer some interesting questions that may or may not be relevant to the underlying software. But hey, we got AI, right? And I think that is absolutely the wrong move for us. When we say built in, not bolted on, that means AI is deeply part of the system. It knows where to find which numbers and what kinds of things are possible with those numbers. I think my favorite example there is a feature where we're releasing this spring, Suite Analytics Assistant, where someone can ask, show me about my sales last quarter. They don't necessarily have to know where to find that in the reports or how to design a report that says that. They can work with the AI assistant in order to get what they want out of it. I think reporting systems have this reputation for being very, very deep. And from that, they can be kind of intimidating. And I think we've gone a long way to addressing that with Suite Analytics Assistant. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, but there's a second ramification of built in, not bolted on.
There's more?
Oh yeah,
and
this one's really exciting in the software community these days. And that is, how do you price AI? Here's an interesting idea. Well, if this AI is so smart, then maybe it should be as smart as an employee, and maybe I could charge for it some fraction of what you'd pay for an employee. That sounds really good if you're a software maker, maybe a little hard to get your head around as a consumer, but the software makers really like that idea. So here's another idea. Well, this AI stuff and all these NVIDIA chips is kind of expensive. Maybe we should be charging people for the infrastructure so that we don't go out of business when people take all they can from the all-you-can-eat AI buffet. So that's another way of pricing. Or maybe we should charge based on the result. Like every time I convert a lead using my AI, you should pay me for that conversion, since that's something that's known to have a price on it. But if we think about built in, not bolted on, the implication there is that there is no separating the AI from the rest of the system. And if there's no separating it in the software, why would we try to separate it when we give somebody a bill? So one implication of built in, not bolted on is that there is no separate charge for AI. AI is part of the system, and you just buy NetSuite and the AI comes along with it.
So Brian, you already mentioned NetSuite Text Enhance, which is our generative AI solution we announced a couple years ago. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Text Enhance is a lot like the name sounds, which is anywhere text appears in NetSuite, which is actually a lot of places. You can get generative AI assistance there. And it's not like you just went and asked ChatGPT a question. The problem with asking ChatGPT a question is it doesn't know about the data that's in NetSuite. Text Enhance knows about the data that's in NetSuite. And so it can use the data in the record that you're on or the kind of work that you're doing in order to improve your writing. And it now appears in more than 200 places across the suite. I already mentioned that we've rolled it out in Japan. Why did we do that? Because large language models have gotten better at language over the last couple of years, and now we're more confident that it's going to work for our customers all over the world. So that's fantastic. But like I mentioned earlier, we need to be thinking about how NetSuite customers make the suite their suite. And that means when they go and add their own text areas in NetSuite, when they go build their own applications in NetSuite, we need generative AI working for them too. So what we've done recently is introduce Prompt Studio. Prompt Studio allows you to both customize the way Text Enhance works in any place across the suite, add your own prompts if you want to, and add prompts to things that you have added to NetSuite. So now it matches the rest of our platform in terms of the flexibility that it provides. We went a little further than that though. We made LLMs a first-class citizen in SuiteScript. And what that means is that if you're extending the suite, if you're building new applications, it's not just about text areas. It's about anything you want to apply AI to. You can create your own prompts, either managed through Prompt Studio or managed yourself, and you can use them the way you want to build the applications that you're after. I think it's a fantastic extension of NetSuite and shows how we're taking the NetSuite philosophy and extending it into AI.
So we announced even more exciting AI solutions at SuiteWorld this past year, including NetSuite Financial Exception Management. Can you give us an overview of how these new features will impact customers and fuel even more efficiency?
I'm glad you reminded me about financial exception management, because we were talking about generative AI, and a lot of that is about text. And there is a lot of text floating around in NetSuite, and it's really, really important. But a lot of people are in there for the numbers, and AI is more than just text. So financial exception management is all about finding things that look unusual in the numbers. So where do unusual numbers come from? Sometimes they're typos or they're just mistakes. And obviously we want to point those out. The faster you find those, the faster you close your books. Sometimes they're actual important things that are changing about the business, and we want to highlight those too and allow people to react. So when we point out an exception, we're not saying that this is good or bad. We're saying it's worth bringing to your attention. I think it's also important to note these models for finding exceptions are built for every company individually, which means it's really about your numbers, not about numbers in general.
Brian, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening and even more to come. So what can customers expect next for AI in NetSuite?
I think some of the things we've already talked about, we will continue. So insight and productivity, those are the two ways customers are going to benefit. We're going to be finding more and more ways for customers to benefit, but they're going to fall into insight and productivity. Now, something we haven't talked about yet that I think is on people's minds is this AI going to run away without me? And another important part of our philosophy is that we keep a human in the loop, meaning we don't let the AI make decisions and nobody reviews those and they just go out there in the world. So I think it's reasonable for people to expect that we will keep a human in the loop. I think we'll do even more than we've talked about today when we talk about our extensibility story. How do people make the AI their AI? So even more ways where they can custom fit what's happening with the AI in NetSuite to solve the problems that are in front of them.
So fun fact, we actually use our own AI internally here at NetSuite. Can you share how we're using it to fuel our own productivity and efficiency?
Okay. I think this is a really good point. Now, tell me how you think people feel about this, because a lot of times we're using AI features internally before we give them to customers, but how? I think maybe sometimes our internal teams feel like they're getting beaten up because they have to use something early. And sometimes they feel like they have the inside advantage. I don't know. What do you think? Is it more beaten up or more advantage?
Definitely not beaten up. I was delivered a chatbot and I was like, chatbot? For me, it was a nice surprise.
Oh, so we'll talk about that. So you mentioned ChatGPT earlier, but ChatGPT is not Oracle. We take our obligations to our customers and all of the long list of rules that we follow, we take them very seriously. And so whenever we're doing something for work purposes, we want that happening inside our walls in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure using the Oracle OCI Gen AI service. And so we wanted that chatbot for our employees too, and we wanted them to be able to do their work using AI, so we built our own chatbot. I was really excited about that, and I think we'll extend that more for employees going forward too. But we also have employees who use NetSuite every day in their jobs. And our support organization is a good example. They were an early adopter of Text Enhance, and they were super excited about it. Super excited because they could spend more time figuring out what is the customer's problem and how to solve it, and less time having to think about exactly how to explain it, because Text Enhance could help with that explanation. So they liked that a lot. So we went back for another round with them too, in terms of going through all of NetSuite's documentation to try and figure out how do you pull together various aspects of the suite to address a customer problem in Suite Answers. And so that's something they've been using that we'll give to everybody in the NetSuite community just a little later this year.
I can't wait to see what else is next. Very exciting. And so AI is everywhere. It's in NetSuite, but it's also everywhere in the world. There's really no escaping it. It's not going anywhere. So for business owners who may not have adopted it yet or may not know where to start, what's your best piece of advice for them?
So the first thing that businesses need to do is they need to get their data together. They need to get their data organized, because the AI is not going to be any smarter than the data that you feed it. Garbage in, garbage out. So NetSuite is a great way to do that. So even if you're not ready to take full advantage of every AI capability, just getting implemented on NetSuite prepares you for AI.
So Brian, as you look to the future of where AI is headed and how it's going to help businesses even further, what are you most excited about?
I think the thing that's coming soon that I'm most excited about is Suite Analytics Assistant, because it shows how the AI and the underlying software and the human are going to collaborate to solve problems. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that, where the AI is taking action in the system at the direction of the human. So that's the feature and the feature direction that I like. I'd say if you look at the big picture, I want to go back to the beginning of NetSuite and something that our founder, Evan Goldberg, talked about a lot at the beginning. And that was, if you moved to using a web-based application, that you would get a lot more functionality that used to only be available to large businesses. And the reason that was true is because in order to run business software back in the bad old days, you needed an IT team who was going to install it and maintain the computer and make sure that system was all operating correctly. And that's just not something that a small or medium business was going to get around to. The web changed that. It was a democratization of the technology. And I think AI is going to take that to the next level. What happens in small or medium-sized businesses is they don't have as many dedicated specialists. More people need to be generalists. They need to wear a lot of hats. The AI is going to be better at serving the role of the specialist. They're going to make the generalists more powerful. It's going to be yet another way that we democratize the technology.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Brian. This has been an insightful conversation. Thanks for giving us an inside look at AI in NetSuite. And for everyone watching, if you want to learn more about NetSuite's unique AI strategy and how we're helping our customers fuel even more productivity and efficiency, you can click on the link in the caption or head to netsuite.com/AI. Thanks for tuning in.